Well, Mountain Coast have brought this trail shoe out with the aim to try and target the ultra distance running market. However, we feel like some of the features in the shoe make a better fit for shorter to middle distance. I'll touch on that, some of the pros and some of the cons of this shoe in this review. Just to let you know, Mountain Coast did provide me with this shoe free of charge. However, they have no say in the editing process, the review overall, and they won't even see this until I release the video. So let's get stuck into it in terms of the midsole, where we've got the Lightcell technology midsole, which is a PEBA blend inside it. Now, PEBA blend is typically the super foam that we see in some running shoes and in some trail shoes. Often that's quite a responsive, bouncy and springy feel. However, in this shoe, it's a lot firmer than what we see in the running version of the Mountain Coast R1. So that makes it a lot more stable underfoot. It's not that it's completely dead, it doesn't have any spring to it, but it's just not as bouncy as you might expect, especially if you ran in the R1 on the road. Now, this is really a road to trail shoe, and part of the reason for that is it's got 3.5mm lugs underneath, and it has the Vibram Megagrip sole, so it's really good at providing grip on wet, rocky terrain. Because of the 3.5mm lugs, it's maybe not as good in deep mud, but as a result of that, it's able to transition from road to grass onto light trails without any problems whatsoever. Then when we think about the stability of the shoe, we have some sidewalls on the outside of the heel and on the inside of the shoe to try and provide some stability to the heel. We're quite a relatively stiff heel counter. Again, that's coupled up with the sidewalls to cradle that ankle, trying to help those pronation moments when you initiate contact with the ground. Moving along the shoe, we have a nice 4-foot rocket that facilitates a nice push-off phase of the gait cycle, especially when you're running on a flat surface, but it's not too aggressive so that doesn't cause too much toe spring in the shoe. So that's a really excellent feature overall. It does have quite a bit of flexibility in the shoe in the forefoot for those of you who enjoy it, and it doesn't have a rock plate underneath, so if you're running on quite rocky or sharp terrain, you might need a little bit of extra protection that we don't get in this shoe. It's a little bit soft underneath the forefoot. As we move up the shoe, we've got a Kevlar design similar to what we see in the Solomon Genesis, so it really gives excellent protection on top of your foot, and it's quite breathable as well. We have some abrasive rubber around the toe box to try and give some extra durability to the shoe, but we have no toe box protection in case you kick a rock or a branch. The fit on the top of the shoe is really good. It's true to size and length for me, and it's got plenty of space and plenty of width in the toe box, and it doesn't taper too narrowly. In fact, it's quite a good fit overall because it stays all the way up to the big toe and then curves rather than tapering on both sides like we see in some other shoes. Now, interestingly, it's got a dual lacing system, so you can tighten it up from the bottom and from the top. You just pull down the tab so you can get the right type of fit for you. It takes a little bit of playing around with it to get the right type of fit, and you may need to adjust it on different types of terrain, whether you're going on really steep terrain, especially downhill or uphill. So it was a really nice feature, and it just tucks into the upper tab, and it's got quite a thin tongue. However, some of you who like to get really tight, you might not enjoy the fact that you don't have much padding underneath the tongue because you might get a little bit of bite on the front of the ankle. You've got some small amount of padding around the heel cup, so you're not going to have any issues with sensitivity or rubbing against the back of the heel for those of you who have sensitivity there. And overall, it's a relatively light shoe, coming in around 255 grams for a size 9 men's US. So overall, due to the firmness of the shoe, it feels a bit more similar to the cushioning that we get in the Ultra range, where it's a little bit firm, not as bouncy and springy as some other shoes like we see in the Hoka. As a result, not having as much cushioning as well as some of those other bigger, chunkier shoes like the New Balance Aero 9, I don't think it's as suitable for those longer distances because you just don't get as much protection, much padding underneath your foot. However, what you do get in return is a really good ground contact feel throughout the whole shoe due to the 4mm drop. So it means you get a really even distribution of pressure across your foot. So if you're looking for a short to medium distance shoe that you want to use on the road and then transition on to light to moderately technical terrain, then this can be an excellent option for you. It's very similar to some other shoes on the market, but the fit is good, the lacing system is good, it's got the nice Kevlar design, and it's got the Vibram Megagrip, which really sticks well on those wet surfaces. However, if you have any questions on them, please drop them in the comment section below. I'll drop some links in the description if you want to check out the latest prices. Otherwise, if you just found the video helpful or interesting, like and share and subscribing does make a massive difference to us. Thank you very much for watching.